and we're rushing, and we're rushing. Then we got a full face and we're rushing. Then we got a full face and we're rushing. Hey beautiful people, welcome to my makeup tutorial. We are starting off with primer, and we're just applying this primer on as if this was a moisturizer. We're putting on places where we would need it to fill those pores, and then I'm doing a setting spray on top of the primer, and we're starting off with a cream blush as our base, and I'm just working that product in around my under eye and the top of my cheekbone, and then I'm going in with my concealer. This concealer is our first concealer that I'm using, and I will be using it on the areas that I want to focus on, which is under my eye, my T-bone, and my chin, and those smile lines. I also have this contour palette here where I'm just going to contour my face. I'm just enhancing the structure of my face. I'm not really trying to give a whole new face, but as you can see, if I put it under my chin, it kind of gives me that more snatched look. And I'm doing that on the other side, and then I'm also going to add that. I've seen someone do this, so I said, let me try it and give my pout, add more pout to my lip. And now another part of my contouring is that I'm going above the cheekbone, above that cheek line, to apply the contour to give my face a more elevated, lifted look. And contouring is my favorite thing to do. I'm not even gonna lie, I love contouring. And with this palette I have, it kind of gives like foundation. So this makeup look also will have no foundation in it, just contour and concealer. That's what I've been doing lately. So I also contour my nose. I only contour my nose to give a finished look, not like I'm wanting to contour my nose, but it just helps, you know, kind of set the look. And so when I'm connecting my nose, I'm connecting it to my under my eyebrow, and I'm making that into my eyeshadow base, as in like an eyeshadow. I'm not really on the eyeshadow train yet. That is something that I'm still learning, so bear with me, bear with your girl. So I'm just making that into my eyeshadow, a little neutral color, and then making a wing. Now I'm blending out that concealer with a brush. I like to, look at me checking myself out. I like to use a brush when I'm putting on my concealer. I did forget the top of my lip, but I have redeemed myself in that. And so I added that concealer onto the top of my lip. And then, mind you, this is the first concealer that I'm using. And so I'm just blending that in to the blush that I already have on my face. And I'm kind of blending in the concealer that I already have before I apply the next one. I also did my eyebrows off camera, so they are already done. I'm not doing that on camera. I do this technique where when I have that T-bone concealer, I like to shape my eyebrows with that T-bone concealer to give that a more sculpted look, and then I blend it in on top so it doesn't look like I'm scraping the concealer, because try not to scrape your concealer when you're using a brush, but to blot it in as if you're using a sponge. Next steps is that I am using my brush to blend in the concealer into my skin, and I'm not dragging it, I'm not being too heavy with it, but I'm using that fluffy brush, that small fluffy brush, to blend in the contour into the concealer. All right, as you can see, one side is fully blended, one side is not. You can see a big difference in that. And so I'm just blending it in to those areas, making sure I get all the way to my ear, underneath my neck. I'm also then going in to blend that contour that's on my nose. So I'm blending that into my skin to give it a more polished look, and you'll see, I'm adjusting my camera, that does look a little bit better. Now I'm just blending that product in, and so now you can see that everything's a lot smoother. Here I am going in with the second concealer. This second concealer is just for me to brighten my under eye. You can judge somebody else. I'm just kidding. But I love a bright under eye. I love a bright under eye. And so that's the next thing that I'm doing, is just blending that into the concealer that I already have. I don't know if it's the lighting or maybe just how the products were looking on my face, but I'm telling you, it looked better off cam and when I was completely done. Next, I have the pressed powder, and I have it in the shade Cocoa from NYX, and I'm going to be applying that. This is the brush that I had on hand. I did end up getting another brush for my pressed powder, but for me, I use a brush when I'm using my pressed powder instead of those little puffs, those little padding puffs that you use, like the ones that look like a triangle. I don't know what you call them, but I use a brush to put on my pressed powder in this makeup tutorial. For some reason, the pressed powder, when I use those little puffs, it like cakes on a lot, and I didn't really want that look. And so I'm just applying that pressed powder to the areas that I've already had my contour and concealer on, to kind of like press and set that makeup in. Right. Next, I'm going in, now that I've had that pressed powder on my top lip, I'm going to add in my lip liner. I'm going to keep that concealer and pressed powder on my top lip. I'm not going to wipe it off because it kind of helps create the look for the lip liner. Like it won't fade. It will pop out more. And so this lip shade, I believe, is the color Red. It's from Sachue Beauty off of TikTok Shop. And I love that lip liner. I love that lip stain. It's so good. And so as I'm finishing the rest of my face, my lip liner is drying and I am pressing in that pressed powder. I'm brushing it off the ends of my cheek, but I'm pressing it into my under eye so it can stay. And then now I'm baking with this HD Flawless banana powder I got from the hair store. And I love this pressed powder. Setting powder. I also ended up finding another setting powder that I really like, but we'll just, include that in the next makeup tutorial. You see how I have the puff here? I am going to use the puff here to kind of give it a more pressed in look and to kind of make it a little flawless and a little more seamless than the brush would. And then I did add a little bit more, but it's okay. I wanted it to show up because the purpose of a setting powder is that it's supposed to just blend into the skin and set everything. So I'm going to set all the areas where I had underneath the contour and where I had the concealer to kind of sculpt the rest of my face. And that's what is going to set my face for this makeup look. And I'm putting all of the powder products on top of the products I used that were cream. Now I'm going in with my eyeliner, and I'm using the puff to just kind of make sure that underneath my eye isn't creasing and that I still have the powder on there and I'm not messing it up. I love a good eyeliner. I love a good eyeliner on the underneath my eye, and so on top of my eye ducts. So I love it. And then I'm just brushing off, after it baked a little bit, I'm brushing off that baking powder, that banana powder, and I'm just kind of brushing that off lightly, not taking too much of it off because I kind of want to keep the product in there, but just blending it in for a more seamless look. And then I have this blush from Dollar Tree in the color Plum. I am going with the Plum blush and a plum lip. I thought that the brush that it came with would work. It did not. So back to the blush. The brush I had for my blush originally, and it started to kick on a little bit better. I try to go diagonal from my face, like going upward with the blush to give my cheekbone a little bit more structure instead of going in circular motions on my cheeks. I want it to go upward into my cheekbone to structure my face out. And so that is my favorite part when I do get the blush. I try not to put too much blush on. I'm not trying to walk around with blush blindness, but I do love a blush, and I put a little bit on my nose. I have this mascara that I got from Miss A that I'm using. It's all right. I'm using it before I put on my lashes. Here I am removing the lip liner stain in the color Red. It's a rose color, and so it's going to show up as red on my lips. And I use a lip stain Oh, there I am showing myself off. I use a lip stain so then I could put the lip liner on top of that lip stain so my lip combo can last longer. Ooh, I messed up my eyelash, but I'm putting on my eyelashes. I fixed the left one or the right one, and I'm putting on the left one now. Or the right one. And I put that on, which doesn't take me long. I've been wearing lashes for a long time, so I can do that on cam, off camera. Here is this Ruby Kiss plumping lip liner. It's in the color plum, and I love it. I got this from the hair store, and honestly, I didn't know it was plumping until I bought it, and didn't realize that until my lips started tingling, and I said, wait a minute. So that's for my lip combo. And then I have this lip gloss in the color Baby Cakes. And I got this lip gloss from L.A. Colors from Five Below. So that is the lip combo. I also use a clear gloss that I get from Dollar Tree to put on top of it. And now I'm adding that setting spray, that matte setting spray again. And I also added like a dewy setting spray on top of that. I got that dewy setting spray from Dollar Tree. So I'm over here looking like a glazed chocolate donut using my fan, but that is everything as far as my makeup tutorial. So this is the full face. I have my rushing song that I was doing.
Relax reminder. I'm stressed. I rebuke that.
So thank you for joining me on my first makeup tutorial. Until next time.